All of us.
I don't
Oh, wait,
understand.
all of
Well,
us.
there's a letter, like a letter.
Make
Well, I will see how you.
I think it's
do it,
informative.
and I will know.
I think it's fair to learn from
What
the
I
example
don't
of others.
know
And we are, folks,
is
we are
then,
live.
Does that mean
Krista?
they just pay us rent? Does that
Krista,
mean they move
we're
out?
on. My friend, we're on.
Sure.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. I am Chair Rick Vest. To my left is Vice Chair Krista Yoakum. To her left is Commissioner Matt Schulte. To my right are Commissioner Sean Flowerday and Chelsea Johnson. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you go, Rick. There's your crowd.
Here we go.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. All written materials to be discussed at today's meeting can be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Printing options are available upon request. The first item is the minutes, approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on January 21st, 2025.
Move approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The second item is the claims, approval of the claims process through January 24th, 2025. And I'll note there's an amendment to include the most recent payroll.
I move approval of the claims, including the payroll disbursement through January 22nd, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest.
Motion carries.
Commissioner Vest, was that a yes vote?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Motion carries. Item 2B, approval of the claims including billing for goods and services beyond the 90-day time period provided in Nebraska Revised Statute 23-135, Progressive Electric dated January 27th, 2025 for a total of $433.01.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is item 3, a special presentation, Commissioner's Award of Excellence for December 2024 to Gerald Ewis, Department of Corrections, in the category of Customer Relations. And I'll go ahead and read his nomination letter.
Perfect.
Gerald Ewis, Correctional Officer with the Lancaster County Department of Corrections, has been selected as the Commissioner's Award of Excellence winner for December 2024. Officer Ewis has worked for the Lancaster County for 7 years. He was nominated by Sergeant Courtney McCoy in the category of Customer Relations. In her nomination, Sergeant McCoy states Officer Ewis attended 5 career fairs at area universities and colleges during the 2024 Fall Career Fair calendar. Many of these events required Officer Ewis to work outside of his regularly scheduled hours to arrive in time to travel, set up, or attend the career fairs. At these events, Officer Ewis acted as an ambassador for both the department and Lancaster County as a whole. His personable attitude with the students and staff at the schools, upbeat mentality while at the career fairs, and his willingness to go outside of his comfort zone to assist in the department's recruitment mission are direct contributors to the growth of the department's footprint on campuses of higher education. On one occasion, Officer Ewis took the point position at a university career fair. He took the role of leader and trainer at the event. This event turned out to be one of the most successful career fairs in terms of student interest for additional internship information. Officer Ewis displayed a friendly, approachable professionalism in his interactions with staff at the various campuses. This facilitated a positive working relationship with these area stakeholders and fostered a continued working relationship that has assisted in the growth of the internship program and heightened visibility of job openings on these various campuses. Additionally, Officer Ewis, his successful communication skills and ability to relay pertinent information regarding his career as a corrections professional has increased the professional outlook on the department and has successfully allowed potential future coworkers to realize the exciting and impactful benefits and opportunities that accompany a position in corrections. On occasion, Officer U.S. was able to bridge gaps of misunderstanding about what services are provided by the jail and clear up misconceptions by providing correct information to those seeking to understand the services provided by the department. By doing so, many conversations ended with the members of our community leaving with a better, more accurate picture of the workings of our department in the criminal justice system. For these reasons, we are pleased to award Officer U.S. with the Commissioner's Award of Excellence for the month of December 2024.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here to recognize Officer Uhas for his hard work. Officer Uhas has worked for us since May of 2017, and he really sets a standard of what a corrections officer should be. He does that by maintaining professional relationships with his coworkers, with members of outside agencies and the public, and with the individuals who reside with us at the facility. He's always willing to help out newer staff as they learn their new job, and, as mentioned in his nomination, is willing to go above and beyond what is normally expected of an officer. It is a privilege to work with Gerald, and he's definitely deserving of this award.
It's my real honor to get to present you with this. I want to thank you for your service to Lancaster County, and thank you for just being an envoy to the community on behalf of our whole government here. So you've really done yeoman's work for the community, and I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to say there?
Not much for speeches. I just want to thank all of you guys for taking the time out of your day to read all of this, and my administration for believing in me, my coworkers for the nomination, and my family for the support for having such long hours. So thank you so
Do you
much.
have family members with you
I
here?
do. My wife Julie is here.
Julia, nice to meet you. Yeah. Commissioners, any?
I would just say we really appreciate people like you who are willing to do this work and be working with people in the community, helping keep them safe and keeping the community safe as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your professionalism within the correction system, among your coworkers, but also for being that face and that voice out in the community. It's how we recruit the best new employees, right? And set up
Correct.
the atmosphere for them to work in. And it's always such an honor to have your peers recognize that, which speaks a lot about not only the organization, but clearly about your abilities that you stood out.
Thank you.
Johnson.
Thank you very much for your service to our community. It was an honor to meet you today.
Yeah. We thank you for coming down and giving us your time. Thank you, sir. And thank you all who supported him.
The next item is the consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there is an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items are approval of A, amendments to the following county contracts: C-22-0376 with All Roads Barricades Incorporated, and C-22-0377 with JNA Traffic Products for the annual supply of traffic channelizing and barricade devices. C-24-0363 with Snap-on Industrial, Division of IDSC Holdings LLC for vehicle lifts with garbage and fleet maintenance equipment. C-24-0860 with the Schemmer Associates Incorporated for design services related to the replacement of County Bridge R-213. C-22-0927 with Lampe's Clean Air Specialist for the annual supply of HVAC filters. Item B, right-of-way contracts with the following: Raymond Levitt Trust and Billy B. Levitt, Martell Road and 176th Street in the amount of $955. Mark and Michael Levitt, Martell Road and 176th Street in the amount of $1,180. And C, received and placed on file the following reports: the county clerk's report and the mileage reimbursement report.
I move approval of the consent items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is the public hearing action items. After a public hearing has been conducted and closed, action on the item that was the subject of the public hearing will be scheduled as a separate public hearing action item. Because the public hearing has been conducted and closed on that item, no further testimony or evidence will be accepted or admitted during the public hearing action item portion of the agenda. The first is the resolution in the matter of County Text Amendment 24012, Text Amendment to the Lancaster County Zoning Regulation, Article 2, Article 4, and Article 13, as provided in Exhibit A.
We did have a public hearing on these two items last week. There was, other than staff, there was no testimony on either of these two items, and staff does recommend approval of both of them. I would entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve item A.
Item A,
We'll
please.
do it that way, I
Yes.
think. Item 5A. Any discussion, commissioners? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
I'm not sure we got there on this one. Yes, I'll vote yes on it. I don't have a better solution.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next is a resolution in the matter of a proposal to amend Comprehensive Plan Amendment 24006 to amend the 2050 Lincoln Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan to add 193 acres to the 2050 future service limit, revise the same area from Tier 3 to Tier 1 Priority B on the Property Growth Areas map, and change the future land use map for the area from agriculture to urban residential on property generally located at South 84th Street and 1/2 mile south of Rokeby Road.
Any motions, commissioners?
I would move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? The southward growth of Lincoln continues. Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next is item 6, new business, a resolution in the matter of fixing the date, time, and place for a public hearing regarding a request to vacate portions of a public road, more particularly described in Attachment A and located in Lancaster County, Nebraska.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Barnes, County Attorney's Office. So this is the resolution for the 91st Nebraska Parkway. This is to set the date for the public hearing. On request of the County Clerk's Office, the earliest we can set that date would be February 18th, but it is purposely blank for you guys to choose a date either on February 18th or after that on a Tuesday. So whichever day works for you guys on February 18th or after that.
Okay.
So.
This is an issue that we've been discussing for some time now. I don't see any reason to delay it beyond the February 18th date unless one of the commissioners,
I'll
Commissioner.
make a motion to set the hearing date for February 18th for this 91st Street.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to set the public hearing for this vacation. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item is item B, a resolution in the matter of authorizing the county board chair to sign the professional services agreement with the Nebraska Department of Transportation for preliminary engineering services.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. Yesterday, a constituent asked me just how long these federal aid projects take, and unfortunately, the answer is a long time, right? So this is an additional agreement for the federal aid project of North 14th Street. We are excited to bring it forward and start on the preliminary engineering for this project. As you're aware, these projects have many steps, and we kind of do them one step at a time as we're approved by the Nebraska Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration, which some of this may seem cumbersome, and it is, but the reality is being reimbursed for the cost of these projects, 80 to 90% is significant, and these are projects that we would never be able to afford to build as just Lancaster County with property tax dollars.
I move approval.
Go ahead.
We don't have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Are we gonna get reimbursed for these? I mean, and that's not, that's not a knock on you or your department at all. Like, there's no, I'm not, like, I should we be moving forward with these projects, given what we've heard in the last 12 hours? Like, I just don't know what to do right now.
I mean, I think, and I am aware too of the questioning of all federal grants. Here's what I'm going to say. I think we have to continue to move forward. The projects, these federal aid projects are ultimately bid by Nebraska Department of Transportation, and then they invoice us for our percentage. If we get to a point where the funding has been pulled, we'll just stop. I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, obviously, yesterday's action of shutting down all federal grants was one of the most extreme actions that we've seen. There's always a little bit of it, but this is a little bit more.
Yeah, I
and
don't even know what that
so
means.
I'm hoping. I read the same executive order that you did.
Right.
I'm hoping that I think it'll gum the system up for a while, but I think we have to keep moving forward with these projects because the delays are just too much, and all of the improvements are needed right now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead if you have a comment.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Commissioner Flowerday kind of beat me to the question, but just a couple of follow-ups.
Yeah.
These are cost reimbursement grants, correct? Or
So typically what happens with this is the Nebraska Department of Transportation. So this resolution is the resolution which you're saying that you're going to sign the agreement, and the next resolution is the agreement that you're signing. What happens is we are billed the whatever the agreement says, the 80%, the 20%, or the 10%.
so we pay the 80 or the 10 or 20% up front.
Typically, after the agreement is executed, we're invoiced. And that's not, and I say typically because they're all a little different. With Saltillo, the county has paid for 100% of the engineering costs associated with that. And then I'll say the but for what. And the but for what is, but the Federal Highway Administration, the Nebraska Department of Transportation agreed to pay for 90% of the construction, which is, of course, more than 80%. So the pieces of this as we go along are all just a little different. So it's a hard question to answer quickly, which I feel bad about, because the other part of that is for the construction, the state bids it and they send us an invoice. For the engineering, it can go either way. And then I'm going to also say for the right-of-way acquisition, like the right-of-way acquisition that's coming up for Saltillo Road, it is a we purchase all the right-of-way and then we're reimbursed. So it depends on the agreement. And if the board would advise that we start discussing what that is when we come up to the podium, I'm fine with that.
So it sounds like the answer is that it depends. But in terms of like the actual construction piece of it, or maybe the largest component of the cost, do we receive those federal funds after we have expended those dollars or before?
So typically, the Nebraska Department of Transportation bids the construction part of the project, and then they send us an invoice for whatever our portion is, per the agreements that you have approved.
Okay.
So we're not putting money up front.
We are technically putting money up front after the project has bid, but it's 10 to 20%. And of course, if all of these grant programs stopped,
Right.
they're not going to bid projects.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the challenging part is, if I'm to like throw Saltillo Road up as an example, the development of that project I've been working on since 2015 as a safety project. That's a decade. So we really don't, unless the feds tell us to, we really don't want to put our pencils down and stop, because that just makes these projects last even longer. And it's a really not awesome place to be in.
Okay. I'm just trying to catch up because, you know, my background is more on
The whole world is right now. It's
Well,
true. You're not the only one.
I guess what I was going to say is that, like, my background is, of course, more on, like, the NRD side, and the NRD waits for FEMA funds for,
Right.
like, years, but the work has already been done, so it's always on our accounts receivable. Is that similar for this, or or not?
Not.
Okay.
It's indeed very different on a number of facets. And that's the challenge, of course, is that all of these are different, and even the ones that you think should be the same are different. We have a big chart of it that I can get you to kind of get you caught up. And then we also present on the progress of it on a quarterly basis.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, great questions. And let me just add one comment that I hope will be helpful. Pam, you'll correct me if I say this incorrectly. I know you're just
Of course I will,
pins
Commissioner
and
Vest.
needles here, but we will only pay our portion of it. We don't pay the federal government's portion, and then they send us a check.
Not a
They will
reimbursement.
Not on this.
on the right. We're
FEMA.
talking about very specifically these kind of improvement
Okay.
projects. So we don't get involved in waiting on our money. We've dealt with FEMA too, but
Yeah,
not on these projects.
Okay,
We've
that's
we've waited a long time for FEMA in the past, so that's not, like, that'll happen, don't worry. You'll see that. It just isn't,
We don't really want to encourage
Yeah, no,
disaster, Commissioner Flowerday.
It's no different for us on FEMA.
Right.
So that's that. I think we have a motion and a second to approve.
We do.
Let's call the roll.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is item 6C, professional services agreement with the Nebraska Department of Transportation for preliminary engineering services. The total reimbursable amount for this agreement is not to exceed $23,722.79. The state will determine the eligibility of the project's cost for federal aid highway funding and provide reimbursement for those eligible costs.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is item 6D, a recommendation from the purchasing agent on behalf of the county engineer to award a contract to Midwest Infrastructure Incorporated for culvert maintenance 2024 in the amount of $557,262.81.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. The exhibit that I've placed up on the overhead shows the location of the pipe culverts that we're proposing building with this, there it is, that we're proposing building with this contract. This project did come in under bid, and once again, we did have 9 bidders. And when you have 9 bidders, you have a lot of competition. There were some questions at the last minute about this bid last week, which is why we pulled the item and are bringing it back to you this week.
I'd move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is item 6E, memorandum of understanding with Fastenal Company for facilities maintenance, repair, and operations, and industrial supplies. The cost is not to exceed $40,000.
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is item 6F, an exceptional circumstance award under Personnel Rule 17.9 for Tony Kolgowski, System Programmer, for a one-step pay increase.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Rachel Garver, Lancaster County Treasurer, and I made this recommendation. I didn't know if maybe we need it read. So,
Megan, do we have something to read?
The portion reason for request, is that?
Tony played a pivotal role in the successful implementation of a major legislative change to property tax for the 2024 tax year. The tax roll process is fundamental to the operations of the Treasurer's Office, and any legislative changes to property taxes can have widespread and profound effects on the entire county. In August 2024, less than 4 months before tax statements needed to be sent out for the 2024 tax year, state lawmakers passed a significant alteration to the refundable income tax credit for school districts. This change marked a dramatic shift in how credits were traditionally handled, requiring extensive recalculations and reprogramming for every parcel in Lancaster County. The complexity of this new directive, combined with the tight timeline, made it one of the most challenging projects the Treasurer's Office has encountered. For over 2 months, Tony worked tirelessly, often logging 12 to 16-hour days, including weekends, to ensure that these changes were implemented successfully. His efforts were instrumental in completion of the project, and his technical expertise was essential in navigating the complexities of this task.
I really appreciated all the work Tony did. It was a huge project. We were all pretty stressed. I'm sure they were very stressed over at the assessor's office too, because they had a huge part of it. And Tony worked very closely with their office on that. And we're still not quite done. We did get the statements out, but then there's all the vouchers that need to happen. We saw the first round, but it was rejected because it wasn't quite right. And they're back with assessors back with their vendor trying to figure out to get a good file so that we can get this finished. But Tony's worked very hard, and I'm really proud of the work that we've been able to do in our office, that Tony's been the main person doing it. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. We deeply appreciate your efforts. Move this project forward.
Well, I move approval. What I hear frequently from the county treasurer is, Tony, that you not only see the big picture, but you know the details to do implementation, and those are valuable things to have in a department.
Yeah, I'll second. This is not the first time that your good work has been, broadcast here, and well, I appreciate that, everything you've done for the county. Happy to support this.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further comments? Please call the roll.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is item 6G, a recommendation from the purchasing agent on behalf of the Mental Health Crisis Center to award and execute a sole source contract to Accurate Controls Incorporated for security cameras and licenses in the amount of $20,155.91.
This is a project that they've been working on for a while to do upgrades and replace outdated equipment. I move approval.
Second.
Yeah, really important that for the staff and the folks who are there, keeps everybody in better shape. Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yep.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6H, recommendation from the purchasing agent on behalf of Lancaster County Rural Fire Districts to award a bid to Electronic Engineering for a paging system upgrade in the amount of $363,161.25.
This is one of our projects with the ARPA funds. I move approval.
Second.
Yeah, this, so I don't know if we know this information. Will this complete this completes all the purchase of pagers that we were, or this is part of it? All right.
I was going to say, this is the purchase of the physical pagers, but not the infrastructure around them, right?
Right.
And this is just the bid that we.
Very good. All right. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Schulte,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6I, authorization of the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, Christy Bauer, to certify the acceptance of a grant award from the Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, in the amount of $76,246.
Move approval. We'll accept it if it's there.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Schulte,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is item 7, the legislative update.
Krista and I did attend the Tri-County breakfast on Friday. I think the updates will be better suited for Thursday's meeting to tell you what we Very good turnout, a lot of interesting comments. Sean, anything?
No, for once.
All right, we'll move forward.
The next item is item 8, public comment. Members of the public wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on the agenda may do so at this time. Each speaker is limited to one appearance of up to 5 minutes, and that time may not be reserved, transferred, or otherwise assigned to other speakers. These time limits may be extended or reasonably decreased at the discretion of the chair.
Anyone here wishing to make public comment? Morning, ma'am.
Morning, Commissioners.
If you'll sign in and introduce yourself,
course.
then, and then we'll start your time.
My name is Sundance Bowles. I'm a lifetime resident of Lincoln, Nebraska, and these are my two sons, Ethan Bowles and Riley Bowles. We're here on behalf of my daughter, Kennedy Bowles, who was killed at the intersection of Southwest 14th and Roca Road, which is Highway 33, on April 10th of 2021. As you look at this picture right now, may I approach the bench with another photo to show you?
Sure, if you want us to see a photo.
I want you to see it, please.
Might be easiest if you put it on the.
Well, you
I
could,
want
ma'am,
everybody to see it.
well, if you
Ma'am,
put
I
it-
would just put it underneath the docu camera.
It should come up on all the
All right.
televisions.
Well, everybody just be warned.
She's,
Let's see if it works.
Put upside down.
Yes.
There it is.
Now you see her? Sorry, I'm shaking, I'm nervous. This is what the road did to her. Also a 17-year-old young man who ran the stop sign that day. I could blame him all day long. The stop sign is so small at this intersection. They were traveling, I'm so sorry, I'm very nervous.
Well,
You're fine.
They're traveling southbound on Roca Road, missed the stop sign going 50 miles per hour, and slammed right into another person going 65 miles an hour towards Lincoln. My daughter never stood a chance. She was completely broken in that intersection. As I sit out there probably over 100 times at her crash site up on the hill looking at that intersection, it is so unbelievably dangerous. Coming off this road here, on Roca Road, heading this way towards Lincoln, there is a hill. As I sit on this corner, which is right here, which would be the southeast corner, you cannot see anything that's coming over this road, okay? They ran right through the stop sign, but had you stopped, God forbid you stop and you look, which I have a gentleman in court here today. Same time I was writing up this petition, I got about 400 signatures. He had an accident in the same intersection. He was actually traveling towards Lincoln from Roca Road, and a gentleman pulled out after he had stopped at that stop sign and didn't even have enough time to clear the intersection where my friend smashed right into him, right next to where my daughter was killed. I am here to not just ask you, but to beg you to add a blinking, flashing light at that intersection. Red light this way, yellow light this way, and preferably rumble bars on each side of the road. As you're coming down this road, thanks to Pam Dingman, the county engineer, she actually paved this road. It was recently gravel. A 17-year-old, no business being on the back road, and my daughter in the back seat, just having a good night, going to a bonfire, and the next thing you know, her life is completely gone. And these are what I'm left with. And I have just really recently woken up from a fog. This is why it's taken me this long. This is my passion. I have to change this intersection. I have about 400 signatures here, and I know that's not a lot. I can't sit out there any longer. A couple of girls that were best friends with my daughter sat out there, and at that time they were there was an accident at the intersection. If you talk to anybody that owns this auto center here, they will tell you how many accidents happen at that intersection. There is a definite hill. These people that are coming up this road cannot see this intersection. It needs to be changed. I beg you for the funds to add rumble bars and a flashing light. And I get it, there are intersections all over that road. If we're gonna fix this one, do we have to fix all of them? But if you just went out there and sat at my daughter's crash site, we have a wonderful sign out there, we have flowers, off the road, so it's not a hindrance. I also did apply to memorialize her on that highway. I sent that out a couple of weeks ago. My daughter saved 5 lives with her organs, and in this courtroom today, I have her pancreas and kidney recipient who came from Iowa. I've actually been able to meet almost all of her recipients and all in the same room, which has just been so wonderful.
You have 30 seconds left.
I know. Please do something at this intersection. Don't let another life be lost. It's just flashing light, and I'd be happy to pay for it myself. I would. I'd put those rumble bars in myself. I have to do something for her. I can't watch her get married. I can't help her name her first child. But I can do this for her. Please. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here, ma'am, and our deepest sympathy for you and your family. Thank you, gentlemen, for your assistance, too.
Thank you.
We don't, any public comment, commissioners are not supposed to engage, but I know all of us heard what you said, and this will not be forgotten. And so, if you want to talk about this after the meeting or at a later time, I know I personally would be glad to follow up with you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure anyone would. But anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. It means the world to me, and I'm sorry it took so long for me to get here. It's just been a really rough road.
We
To my
cannot
only
imagine.
girl, she was 18 years old. She just about ready to graduate from high school, waiting on her prom dress, her graduation dress. None of that. She got none of that. And like I said, I'm sorry to take up more time. I can blame that 17-year-old, and I did for a long time. That road is so dangerous. Just for the fact that this one gentleman can stop, look both ways, and has no time to get through the intersection. And God forbid you're turning left on that intersection from Roca Road going towards Lincoln east on 33. If you're lucky enough to know that intersection, you gun it, because you cannot see what's coming up over that hill. You just can't. There just needs to be more of a warning. And if you look at the pictures, the stop signs are so small. They're just so small. It's heartbreaking. It needs to change. I appreciate your time. Thank you so
for your
much.
time. All the best to you and your family. Is there anyone else wishing to make public comment at this time?
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Sonia Akeson, a citizen of Crete, and I am here to register my support. I'm sorry to Sunny Bull's efforts to draw attention to the need for warning lights at the intersection of Highway 33 and Southwest 14th. Another signer of the petition was a victim of a drunk driver who sped through this intersection at 90 miles an hour. Her husband was killed and she was left disabled. Earlier this month, my son escaped a serious injury when an inattentive driver failed to yield. I have witnessed many instances of reckless driving along this stretch of a highway, including, but not limited to, improper passing and inattentive driving. Last summer, I narrowly escaped serious injury myself along the same stretch of highway due to an inattentive driver. Had I not made a sudden turn, I would have been rear-ended at highway speeds. My vehicle was totaled. Driving on Nebraska roads presents constant danger. My older son lost his life due to a fatal accident 6 years ago at a blind intersection. While every intersection requires an abundance of caution, there is a clear and present danger that should compel the commissioners to approve lights at this dangerous intersection. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to make public comment at this time?
Hello.
If you would sign in, sir.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Hayden Iggeson, and on the 2nd of this month, I was involved in a motor accident while traveling down Highway 33 towards Lincoln from Crete. At the intersection of West Roca Road and Southwest 14th Street, a driver failed to yield and pulled out right in front of me, resulting in a collision and totaling my vehicle and resulting in personal injury. At the same intersection in 2021, Kennedy Bowles, a friend of my sister, was also involved in a collision that cost her life and much grief for her family. I'm fortunate to have not met the same fate, but I'm speaking on her behalf and my own when I say that the safety and law enforcement on this road needs improvement. The intersection of West Roca Road and Southwest 14th Street lacks significant traffic control, aside from a single stop sign, which I do have an image of. This was my car following the accident, and this is the stop sign in question. It is just a single stop sign with a sign below that says Highway 33 traffic does not stop. I believe this is very insignificant control for that intersection, especially for a major road between the cities of Crete and Lincoln, along with the communities of Sprague and Martell not far nearby. As someone who commutes to Lincoln almost every day for their work, if not a single day goes by that I don't see people driving on the highway going 10 to 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. Saltillo Road was once considered one of the most dangerous roads in Lancaster County, and I believe Highway 33 is also just as terrible to be driving around. There needs better control, including a stoplight at said intersection, further patrol from law enforcement, and just more safety measures overall, so accidents like these are not the norm. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to make public comment?
Hi, my name is Brett Breyer. I'm the cousin of Sonny Bowles, and Kennedy she was more than just a cousin. I mean, she was at that age, she was like the daughter that I never had. And we spent a lot of time together, but all of the emotional explanations that you've heard here today they really are irrelevant. I drive a service vehicle, and I drive to Crete, I drive everywhere in the country, and I know no matter where you're at, if the sign says 50, if you're going 55, you're probably still going too slow. People back up behind me on the way back to Lincoln on that road like you would not believe. I drive a heavy carpet cleaning van, so I do not speed, and I know everybody just wishes I wasn't there at the time. I know, without a shadow of a doubt, where her cross is. I look for it every time I come back, and I miss that cross almost every single time. I'm paying attention to people that are on my rear, which that alone is, I don't know how many accidents have happened at that intersection because my attention is torn between what's in front of me and what's behind me. When I look in my rear view, it takes maybe a second and a half. I'm already in the intersection. I mean, we're traveling at a fair speed, even if you have 100% attention on the road, which 0 human beings do. Let's be honest. We try. But you cannot see what is about to come over that hill. Now, I understand the accident shouldn't have happened. There was negligence. Again, it doesn't matter. As it's been stated, you can do everything right at this intersection. And she said, God forbid, if you turn left to go towards Lincoln, you're done. In my vehicle, I'm done. People have passed me. They veer out of the road, and what are they doing? That in itself is a murderous decision. I mean, if there was oncoming traffic, that quick decision, people make these decisions. It's not a smart decision, but it is human nature. This intersection is a disaster for human nature and the decisions we make just in the moment. Now, I can go on. You've already heard. We've all been through the exact same emotions here. I just want you to know that this is not an emotional decision. There are preventative measures at thousands of intersections in Nebraska that don't even hold a candle to this intersection. Now, when you're driving eastbound, away from Lincoln, it's not a problem. You can see all the way up that rise for miles. And as you continue, she said you do it at this intersection, you have to do it at the mall. You do not. That is the single worst intersection on the way out. Every one of those has a rise and a fall, but this one just, that hill falls right there. And we won't even talk about winter weather. If there was ice on the road, there's zero chance of stopping. But I just want to put that out there that it is just untenable. A flashing light, that might get someone's attention coming up over that hill, but I have texted her, I missed her cross. I missed it again. I missed it going the speed limit and paying attention and knowing exactly where that thing is planted. I've been there 100 times. It's just not something that, it's just not something we can accept. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to make public comment this morning? Thank you all for being here, and thank you for your comments. We heard them very clearly. Madam Clerk?
Item 9 is announcements. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, January 30th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold the following on Tuesday, February 4th, 2025 at 9 o'clock a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Board of Commissioners regular meeting, the public hearing regarding a request to vacate portions of a public road located near North 141st Street in Lancaster County, and the Board of Equalization meeting. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on LNK TV. LNK TV is available on Allo Channel 2 and Spectrum Channel 1300. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on YouTube and Facebook. LNK TV apps are also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Item 10 is adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
Second?
Motion and second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Johnson?
Yes.
Schulte?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Flowerday?
Yes.
Vest?
Yes, we are adjourned.